All right, GoPro's up and running. So let's mute everybody.
Welcome to the Outcast, where the wild calls and we always answer.
Every week we pull back the brush and bring you into the untamed, from high ridge hunts to riverbed reading.
Hunting tales, fishing tales, and the kind of wisdom you only get from forgetting toilet paper on a 3-day hunt.
Your weekly dose of hunting tales, muddy boots, and big fish stories. Now let's get outdoors with your hosts, Michael and Tate.
All righty, welcome back to another episode of the Outcast. I'm Tate.
I'm Michael.
All right, so today we got Cooper and Micah in the studio with us today. We have a new section that Micah wants to talk about a little bit, Tournament Spotlight.
Yeah, we're going to start doing a new segment tonight. Like Tate said, we're going to call it the Tournament Spotlight. Basically, we're just going to spotlight about 2 tournaments that are happening somewhere around, maybe local or far off. But first we got the Potomac Youth Tournament, which is going to be June 7th this year. It's open to all ages, or all youth, 18 years old and younger. And basically it's a tournament. They got a bunch of guys coming in with boats, and we're just taking a bunch of kids out.
So we're going to take ours out there this week too, yeah. So
we got a buddy that's got I think 3 kids.
3 kids, yeah. 3 we're going to take out with them. So, I was watching some videos of them on Facebook the other night. They're doing pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good, yeah.
I think he shot 8 or 10 fish the first night they ever went.
Yeah, that was, they do all right. They're not bad, but we're going to take them up, and should be a good night, man.
The next one that you're getting ready to talk about is the one I want to go to.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is the 26th Muzzy Bowfishing Classic. This one's in Guntersville, Alabama, on Guntersville Lake. That's going to be June the 21st through the 22nd of this year. That's a big one. That's.
I think that's. I'll have to look into that, but I think that's a Big 20 format as well.
I believe so. Yeah, that's a pretty big tournament there.
They had 180 boats last year.
Yeah,
at that.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's a lot of people on the lake for that. So.
There's a lot of big fish that's shot in that one, for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, tonight we got Cooper and Micah Osborne in the studio with us tonight. They are a tournament team, bass tournament, and they're actually brothers. They've been fishing together for a long time. How are you guys doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. Not too bad. We're pretty excited to be here.
I heard that y'all been fishing some tournaments this year, huh?
Yeah, we fished quite a few already. I mean, we're into almost the middle of May now. We fished quite a few.
Y'all done any good yet?
Decent. Not too bad. Not too terrible. We got 4th one weekend, and I fished with my other buddy weekend about a month ago. I think it was in Summersville. Made top 10 up there.
That's a tough lake for me. I've never been able to do well there.
It is pretty tough, but when you get some clues and figure it out a little bit, it can reward you. It's actually pretty fun fishing.
See, it's always been tough for me, deep water.
Yeah.
I've always been a Senko guy, so it's, if it takes forever to float down, I'm not catching any fish.
Yeah, you got to have the patience and just slow down, and the clear water, smallmouth, picky smallmouth.
Yeah.
You just got to pick them apart.
What's your strategy? Where like Summersville's, that's a deep lake.
Oh yeah,
almost 400 feet.
Yeah.
Versus like like a lake like Stonewall, where you're not. That's not a very deep. That's a pretty shallow lake.
Yeah.
Without giving away all your secrets.
Well, Stonewall's all largemouth just about. I mean, there's some spotted bass floating around to catch, but they're not what you want to be able to win.
Right.
So you go after the big largemouth. I mean, that's what it's known for. And it's shallow, like you said. And so you kind of just change what you throw, where you go, and what you throw at. I mean, the bass forage is different up there than it is on Sutton, of course. So, I mean, in Summersville's all smallmouth just about. I mean, there's a big largemouth in there too. But most of the time, if you want to win, you better be after a smallmouth.
Right.
And like Tate said, deep water, and it's clear in the summer. From now until the end of summertime, it's gin clear. You can see about as deep as you want to.
Right.
And you just got to slow down, find them, and pick them apart.
Summersville's never really been a lake we've frequented much for bow fishing because it's so deep and the banks
Yeah.
drop off a lot. So it's hard for us to get shots there.
Yeah, there's a lot of rock drop-offs in that lake. It's hard to get on.
So what made you guys get into tournament fishing?
So a couple summers back, I think it was the summer of 23, going into my senior year, Micah Samples, him and JC got together, and of course Luke, his stepson, fished in middle school and elementary school growing up with Austin.
Yeah.
And then Luke went into high school, and then Austin was only in 7th grade, so Luke needed a partner for the high school trail. Micah asked JC if he knew anybody, and JC told him I'd be up for it. And so then me and Luke started fishing, and we started doing pretty good. And after that, everybody just got into it a little bit.
Yeah. So that put you guys on it. So where was your first tournament at? First one you fished?
Ohio River.
Okay.
Middle of freaking June. That was tough.
I figure, yeah. How many fish did you catch?
I don't think we caught a limit. I think we only caught 3, but I caught a 3.5-pound smallmouth on a buzzbait at like 2 o'clock.
That reminds me of that bait Micah was talking about. He went fishing with Dad one time, throwing some kind of frog or something. They all got mad at him because that thing was plopping the water.
Yeah, it was one of those frogs that the legs are it's almost like a water frog.
Oh yeah, when the legs
We
spin.
hadn't caught nothing all day, man. We was getting skunked. Well, I was just chucking and tying on. If it wasn't catching nothing within 15 casts, I was tying something else on.
Oh yeah.
I tied that frog on, got to reeling it in, and I was just playing with it really. Cody turned around, he said, "Let me tie something else on." I'm sick of listening to that thing. I said, "You'll be all right." Boom, whizzed it out there, got about halfway around there, wham, son, nailed a 2-pounder.
Yeah.
So where was your first tournament at, Cooper?
Oh, my first one. I think it was on Burns. No, I take that back. First one I ever fished. I was in high school. Zach Horgs. We fished the Canal River. Good old Thursday nighter. Went down there. I think I was a junior and he was a senior. We went down there and fished it. We caught some pretty decent fish that evening. I don't think we won any money. We had a good time, and that was the first one I ever fished. And that got me into it. And then I never did really get to do it anymore. You know, playing baseball, went to college, and then just went to work, and it just kind of fizzled out for me.
Yeah, we never had Micah. He had like when me and you, Cooper, we were in school. We didn't have a high school fishing team.
No.
It wasn't really any of the high schools around us didn't really have anything like that. I thought it was pretty cool. And when they rung that in and they got a high school team.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
So there's a whole tournament trail for high school, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Bass Nation, how we fish the Buddy Trail, they have a high school trail and even a college trail, which only Marshall and West Virginia have the teams, but it's still big for them to make the national championship and stuff.
Yeah. How did they do last year? Do you know?
Who, Marshall?
Marshall.
I don't think they did very good. I think they was actually down there like earlier in the week than when me and Luke went. I think it was Hartwell when we went down there. I think that's where we seen them. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we seen them down there. I don't think they did anything crazy. I'm not for sure though.
Yeah. Well, they have their own tournament series that you guys are a part of too, right?
Yeah.
Marshall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I saw some postings. I follow them on Facebook. You guys are sitting pretty high in that, aren't you?
Yeah, me and Mikey have been fishing that trail together, and before our Stonewall tournament 2 weeks ago, we was in 10th in the points, I believe, and then we got to Stonewall, and we was on some good fish, on a really good bite, and a cold front come through that Friday night into Saturday morning, and really just shut our fish off, and it was a tough day. We caught 4 keepers, but we didn't have the fish to win, but it was a tough day. And that hurt us in points a little bit. I think we slid down to 12th, I think. I haven't looked at it in a couple days, really, so I don't remember. But I think we're sitting in 12th.
That's kind of my experience with tournaments. Has always been with Marshall. I fished with Dad on a few of those, but of course never really done much good. So there's a couple other trails that you guys are a part of. You want to talk about them a little bit?
So we fished the Bass Nation Buddy Series, and then to fish that, you have to be in a club. So we were in the Canal River Bassmaster Club,
Okay.
which we've only had one of those tournaments. Actually got a top 5. I think we got 4th. Caught 1083,
Yeah,
I
you
think.
ended up catching a 4-pounder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anchored by a 4-pounder. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, Micah caught a stud. We
That's
just
a good one.
pulled up on a random spot, and I mean, honestly, it really didn't even look like a spot that we would catch a bass on. We just kind of going up the bank, fishing, and I don't remember if I caught the first one or if he caught the first one, but one of us caught one, and then back to back.
It's a 4-pounder. That 4-pounder was the first one.
Yeah, Micah caught the 4-pounder first, and I'm just reeling, just kind of staring off. Micah's like, monster, and I'm like, what? No. I turn around and I see this thing's head just coming up beside the boat, and I'm like, oh no. I throw my rod down, start digging for the net. I mean, this is the biggest fish we've seen all spring right here,
Right.
smallmouth wise, and I'm like, oh yeah, game changer.
So have y'all ever fished the New River?
Yeah, I've walked, I went down to Thurman, fished the bank. That is a good time right there.
Yeah. So I've been seeing New River Outfitters maybe post. They've been popping up on Facebook quite a bit, and they've been talking about that. So that's definitely a trip that we're looking forward to this year. We'd like to go up and try to fish the New River a little bit, both shoot it and bass fish a little bit.
That does sound like a good time. I don't think I've ever got to fish it that I know of.
Big old
Well,
smallmouth.
I fished it below, so it'd be Cotton Hill, I guess, right before it turns into the canal.
Bridge,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went up there and fished one time with kayaks. And that was the first time that I ever sunk a kayak. I got it in one of them, between two of them rocks, and turned it sideways and filled it plumb full. Lost all my fishing rods, everything. Went down, floating down the river.
You got to be careful in that river, son. That's
Yeah,
There's
there's
a lot of
undercurrents
white
too.
water.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
hard to flip a kayak
Yeah.
anyways. I mean,
Yeah.
one wrong move and you're going over.
Well, I'm not a small fella either, so that made it a little bit harder.
Speaking of flipping kayaks, that popped up on my Facebook memories the other day.
Mine too.
Yeah, with me and Cody. We was going down the Elk, I think. It
Yep,
was.
sure was. We was between
And,
Go-Mart and Clay, and Cody just had a bright idea to stand up in the middle of the river on his kayak,
He had to pee. He had to pee off of it.
and there he went. And I was like, "Yep, this is going to end up good."
Lost 2 fishing poles, all these tackle box. Lost the phone. Had to go buy a new phone.
Gosh,
There's a whole series for that kayak tournament fishing too.
Yeah.
That seems like that's getting pretty big.
and it actually it's really big. Like Bass Nation has like a pro series for like kayaks. They
Yeah.
like travel the whole country.
Yeah, a couple of those Marshall tournaments that we fished in, there were some guys up there in kayaks.
Really?
They did pretty well. Yeah, it was at Stonewall.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yep, it was. I think it was last year. Toward the end of last year, we fished one, and
Yeah.
there was a couple guys up there.
Yeah, we're trying to get it worked out. We got a buddy that fishes in those kayak tournaments. He's pretty good. You know him, Storm.
Oh, yeah.
Storm, yeah.
We're trying to get it worked out where he can be on here in a few weeks.
Oh man, that'd be
That's
sweet.
awesome. Yeah.
So what's next tournament y'all got coming up? Where's that at?
Saturday, this coming weekend, we fish the Canal River again with our club on the Glasgow pool. Fishing there this weekend.
So where's the ramp at up there?
Literally like right in the middle of Glasgow.
Okay.
Like you know where the Advanced Auto Parts is, I think it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just turn down that street right there and go straight down that street and you'll come right to the boat ranges.
So it's
Gotcha.
down by the fire department. Get in by
Yeah.
the fire department.
That's
think
one
so,
one
yes.
stretch that we've never bow fished is between those locks, Marmot and London locks. We've never
Yeah.
bow fished those.
It's a really good stretch of water.
Yeah.
It is.
Is it got a lot of shallow spot in it? A lot of shallow.
No, it's really not bad.
Probably.
There's, I know of one bank that has a big shallow spot on it.
Yeah, it's like a mud flat right there where
Yeah.
the creek comes in.
Yeah, that's what we look for is bowfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mud flats.
Looking for that shallow water.
Uh-huh.
So, what's your one of your favorite lakes or rivers in West Virginia to compete on?
Honestly, Stonewall's my favorite.
Yeah, that's a big draw. Stonewall's a big one.
There's some stubs on that lake.
There is, and I mean, any cast up there, you're liable to catch a 5-pounder.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, it don't matter where you're at, the time of year. I mean, any cast could be a 5-pounder.
The water temperature up there today was 70 degrees. We were just looking at that a little bit ago, checking the water temps. We're thinking those carp are probably getting up pretty shallow for us. So I
I'm
figure
sure
the bass
they are.
Have the bass spawned yet, or
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
they're already spawned out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're spawned out in Garden Fry.
So what's kind of your go-to to try to catch those spawned out fish? I mean, that are
Man, spawned out fish, like when they're Garden Fry, it starts to get tough. You know, you start to not. They're still aggressive, but catching them starts to get really tough. And then after they're still Garden Fry, like in another week or so, the aggressiveness will start to die off, and they'll you just won't start seeing as many fish, and it'll get really tough.
Yeah. So, do you focus more, kind of move away from the shallow water out to the deeper flats and the stumps, heavy cover, or you like to fish shallow water more?
I like to fish shallow, but I'll go wherever the fish is at. Wherever, like, I'll break a spot down and figure out what they're doing, where they're at, and go from there.
Gotcha. So you guys do a lot of pre-fishing.
Yeah,
Try
to.
Yeah.
Like on the Marshall Trail, we're allowed to practice and allowed to pre-fish. There's no off limits. But in the Bass Nation, the week before the tournament, the lake or whatever body of water you're on is off limits. So there's no pre-practice.
I think I saw some boats down on the canal. Was that this year that we saw them boats running the canal?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
There must have been a tournament or something coming up. It was early this year. We were down there bow fishing, and there was a ton of bass boats running it.
Yeah, we ran into quite a few of them that evening.
Which, if the fish hang tight to where we see them bow fishing, I'll talk to you a little bit after this and let you know where they're at down there. So we see a lot of them.
I didn't mean to elude your question there a little bit ago when you was asking about the spawned out fish. I'll throw, after they're done spawning garden fry, something aggressive, something to really make them mad, something loud, noisy, big or bulky,
Gotcha.
just anything of that nature to really aggravate them and force them into biting.
So how do local tournaments, which I guess most of these would be considered a local tournament, but if we were to consider the Marshall Series, is that one of the bigger of the series you guys fish? Boats?
Yeah, the Bass Nation and the Marshall Series is on the same level. The payouts are about the same. The boat numbers are about the same.
How many boats are averaging in those?
Usually between 40 and 60.
That's a good turnout.
Yeah.
That's a good turnout. And I've noticed it's steadily on the rise.
Yeah.
As far as people, because the DNR just got a new regulation this year with tournaments that you can't take up more than, I think it was like 33% or something, or you have to leave at least 33% of the parking lot. So I think that was really good. We've been up there several times, pleasure boating the tournament going on nowhere park.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that is tough. It's tough for everybody, really. Like the parking lots are always crowded. I mean, especially like you said, if there is a big tournament going on, you ain't going to find a place to park.
Yeah. You can't do Stonewall, or not Stonewall, Summersville from, what was it, Memorial Day to
Labor Day or something.
Yeah, I think Memorial Day to Labor Day. They're not allowed to host daytime tournaments on Stonewall or something. Or Summersville, sorry. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that this year in regulations.
They still have those Friday night tournaments every week.
Yeah, it just can't be. It was like daytime hours. I want to say it was like 9 in the morning till 5 in the evening or something. You can't have a tournament during those hours.
Well, that kind of makes sense up there too, because that's one of the biggest attractions.
Yeah,
that's real dangerous too. Yeah, you get all them freaking party boats out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Summersville's got all those big campgrounds around.
Yeah.
It's a big tourist.
Yeah, I noticed that when we filled out our tournament application for the tournament we had a couple weeks ago, that was mentioned on there that you couldn't have it at Summersville during those days. So I guess they're really trying to push that. So
All right, we're gonna get a word from one of our sponsors here, but I got one more question for Micah here before we go into that. Kind of walk me through a tournament day. What preparation you do for that? Kind of what time it starts. Kind of your routine, what to get your head in the game.
So a tournament day usually starts the night before or a couple nights before, getting the boat ready. You'll see Cooper down in the garage wiping the boat off, making sure it's shiny.
putting the shine on it.
Oh, yeah. Rigging everything up, whether it's going to Cabela's or waiting on your tackle warehouse order to get in, then getting down there, tying everything on, getting a good night's sleep, then usually getting up 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning, driving to wherever you're going, getting your butt kicked all day, then about 3 or 4.
That's not always the plan, is it?
No, it's not the plan, but it seems what happens. Yeah.
This year, that's about been the outcome.
Yeah.
It's been a rough year.
Yeah, it's like, man, we've been on some good fish this week, and then we just get up there and get our teeth kicked in. They're like, man.
Right.
And then 4 o'clock, you weigh in, come home, and you're usually ready to go to bed right about the end.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
Standing on that boat all day.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get a quick word from our sponsor. We'll come right back.
This episode of The Outcast is brought to you by Ready to Light Up the Water and Chase Scales After Dark. We're Outcast Outdoors, West Virginia's own boat.
You coming back in?
Bringing you heart-pounding shots, wild nights on the water, and non-stop outdoor action. Catch us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Just search Outcast Outdoors.
Alrighty, so we're still here in the studio with Cooper and Micah. And I think we're going to kind of move into the go-to section here. And I think the section that everybody will want to know. So what's your guys' go-to rod and reel?
Oh man, you can't. I'll speak on the reel. You can't beat a DC.
Yeah.
DC.
See,
Wow.
I've tried them, and I just don't. I mean, it's just not my cup of tea. I just don't like them.
They are hard to get used to. I'll be honest with you. The first one I bought, I put it on a rod and put line on it, man, and started casting this thing, and I'm like, I'm ready to throw this thing over the hill.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But once I got used to it and got in the groove, got it adjusted right, I love it. Like that's on my go-to rod.
Yeah. So what are you using for a rod?
We have a bunch of ducats,
Yeah.
and
So I've heard a lot about those.
oh man, it's mixed emotions.
Yeah. I've heard-
Cooper is like a boy ducat fanatic, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Well,
I've heard the rod eyes are rough on those.
yeah.
they are. You got to be careful with them because they will break pretty easy, and the rods will break. I'll be honest, the rods will break, but I like a real sensitive rod to be able to feel, like especially if I'm dragging the bottom or fishing some real heavy cover and some timber or something. I like to be able to feel, and the ducats are really sensitive, and that's my favorite thing about them.
Yeah. So if you got to be careful with them, that wouldn't be a good rod for me because they just go in the bottom of the boat
Yeah.
or wherever, jam them up to the side.
Mm-hmm.
So more of a power fisherman or a finesse style?
I'm more of a power fisherman myself. I mean, if I can throw a spinnerbait, I'm gonna be chucking and
Yeah.
winding a spinnerbait.
I'm the same way, really. Like I'd rather pick out a half-ounce flipping jig and run down the bank and flip trees and stumps and any good-looking piece of cover that I pick up along the way. That's what I want to do. Or throw a spinnerbait. Throw a spinnerbait is one of my favorite things to do.
So you're both power fishermen. So then this next question ought to go as well. So what's your all's take on live scope and forward-facing sonar in the tournament series?
I think in the tournament series, I'm not a big fan. I'm like Andy Montgomery says, man, I caught more fish when I'm not staring at that daggone screen.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think it has its place. Like, if we go to some of the lakes here in West Virginia, like Sutton or Summersville, Stonewall, it definitely has its place and a time of year when it's best to use it. And then sometimes you don't even have to take it on a boat. You can just go and just start casting.
Yeah, it don't matter if I got it or not. I still can't catch fish.
Yeah,
So-
sometimes I'm the same way. It don't matter.
We can watch it.
I could have 15 of them things on the front of my boat, and I still couldn't catch them
So we-
sometimes.
I bought the live scope. I actually bought it off Dad in $2,500 setup there. It's got
Yeah.
the 10-inch screen and all that. We throw it on the boat. Go to where did we get? We went to Stone.
No, we went to Sutton first, I think.
Yeah, so we go to Sutton, skunked first weekend with a live scope. You know, and so of course I'm already discouraged, and we're just crappie fishing, so it doesn't. We go to Stonewall the next weekend because we went up 2 weekends before, just kind of scouting, looking for places to bow fish, and we rolled across all those stump fields on the right hand side there,
Yeah.
up out of the national park or whatever that is.
Oh, yeah.
And so we go up there, and we're throwing. We can see the fish down there swimming, and we're throwing, and it looks like we're dinking them right on top of the head with
Yeah.
the lure.
Yeah.
But then we get about 10 minutes into throwing this lure at these fish, and I'm like, shouldn't the fish be bigger than the lure we're throwing on the screen? So I'm pretty sure we were throwing it at minnows. But
Well, you could have been, and the target and bait separation on them is deceiving sometimes because it all goes into what exactly you're throwing. Like if you're throwing, people call it the Mickey rig or the jig head minnow or whatever it is. It's like a lead jig head with a little minnow style bait on it.
Mhm.
That gives off a pretty like a reading of how hard, because that's what it reads off of, is how hard it is, like when it bounces off of it.
gotcha. Yeah, I
So-
noticed that they started
yeah.
selling more of those. You've seen them more in bottles.
Oh, yeah. And, like, I'll oftentimes throw a tungsten head, because the tungsten's harder than the lead, so it puts off a better reading.
Oh,
So you can see where your bait is better and what your bait's doing, just things like that. But it is picking up the fish and the way your beam is pointing from your trolling motor and your transducer. It's a lot to take in, and it's really not as easy as what it's portrayed to be. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we thought we was gonna slap that sucker on the boat.
Yeah.
We was gonna bring a whole bucket full of them home.
I thought the same thing when I got my first one. I was like, man, this is awesome. I'm gonna go catch a bowfish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't work this thing.
It was almost more overwhelming at first.
It is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Figuring all that out and trying to,
Yeah.
what's a big enough fish to be throwing
Yeah.
out and what ain't.
Yeah.
Well, and it makes it difficult too because on my boat I just got the hand control
Yeah.
killer
yeah.
trolling motor.
Yeah.
So we had it on a pole separate from the trolling motor,
Uh-huh.
and the setup just wasn't good.
Yeah.
It was too spread out and hard to control, and then we're fighting the wind the whole time.
Yeah.
And can't keep
Mhm.
the boat and can't keep the beam pointed where it needs to be. So
Yeah, we're set up for bow fishing.
Yeah.
Right,
That's
yeah.
primarily what we do. So
Yeah.
it was hard getting it.
Yeah.
Getting it dialed in and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So do you still have it on there?
Yeah.
Does that help when you're bow fishing?
no,
We,
no, they don't even put the screen on it. Let me go boat fishing.
Oh,
The
really?
only thing
I
I
don't
use
blame
that
you.
for is the GPS. That's it.
Oh, okay, I got
So,
you.
when you're bow fishing, you're typically, ideal water. You're 2-4 feet of water.
the
Right,
least
yeah.
amount of water that my boat will float in is generally what we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why aluminum boat, short draft, like we're running, I want to say it was 11 inches of water draft, and it'll run at about 8 inches on plane. So
Sweet.
we definitely went for that type of boat so that we could get in. I mean, I scratched the piss out of it. This
We
last
almost
week.
scratched it the second
Oh, about
weekend we had
about
it.
sunk it.
All right, yeah, I didn't mean scratch. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're familiar with Canal River. I'm sure you know
Oh.
right where it happened. So just above the Oakwood Bridge there, where the interstate crosses,
Yeah.
there's a piece of metal down there, and I don't know what it looks
It
like
looks
a
like
tower or a piece of barge or something. We come up, swing it.
We're
And-
scooting by the way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on 5, fast as it'll go. Come up, swing it, and the back end comes around, and I mean, just dead stops us right into that metal thing, and it put a gouge in the side of my boat. So no wonder it didn't
yeah.
sing it.
It was pretty close poking through.
That was
Wow.
like day
Goodness.
2 or 3 after I just bought it.
Yeah, that was either the first or the second weekend we had it out.
Yeah,
It
and
was
that
brand new still.
that's exactly why I didn't buy a fiberglass boat.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it wrecked the fiberglass boat for sure.
Yeah.
So I'll put them. If there's fish, I'll put that boat in it. It don't matter. And the trolling motor, I'm telling you, if Minn Kota ever needs somebody to sponsor them and give
Listen,
them,
listen up, Minko.
yeah,
Yeah.
if
Right here, too.
we
Yeah.
need a sponsor for Minn Kota, because I'm telling you, some of the videos that we've got, that trolling motor shaft, it's a 62 or 63 inch shaft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have had that thing wrapped around under and hitting the boat
Yeah.
on the bottom. So it don't matter. If there's fish, we're going.
Is
And
yours
I'll
an all tracks?
Well, I have an Alltrex on there,
Right.
but I'm running I think it's the 4Trax, the Riptide, the
Mhm.
saltwater one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So we run the Alltrex when we're fishing, and it's got the quick disconnect on the front, and then I just pop that other one on.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Those Alltrexes will take a beating.
Yeah.
They really will.
Yeah, we've got video. Of course, like I said, we're on a bow fishing boat, so we're up on this, the deck.
Yeah,
You
on the
know, you're
elevated deck.
2 feet above
Right.
the normal deck of the boat. So that trolling motor, we've got videos of that thing bend. I mean, it's dang near you when it bends under and touches the
Yeah.
boat, and you can hear it whack.
Wham!
But I broke a prop on it one night, and that's the only prop that I broke so far. I'll knock on some wood, but that was the first prop and the only prop that I broke, and I'm really surprised.
Yeah.
So we went up to Sutton early this year before the lake came up. Went all the way up almost to Baker's Run. So you know how shallow that is. in the
Oh,
wintertime.
Right.
Yeah.
So we went up through there and left a white streak on about half the rocks as we were coming back down. So the trolling motor just ripping the paint off the bottom of it. So they make them every day.
Yeah,
right,
it's
yeah.
like,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
going where the fish are. So
It's just
We've been them so far, so hard that when the shaft bends back out, it slingshots the boat backwards.
Yeah.
they make it. I'll tell you, Minn Kota makes a good shaft on a trolling motor.
Yeah, they do for sure.
They truly do, because I have rammed mine into stumps and trees and rocks and everything else
Yeah.
coming and going on the front of that boat.
Yeah. So the one good thing about the Alltrex now, which we've started using, is the remote control.
Yeah.
Which that whole incident, I don't know if I've told that story or not on the podcast, but so we're up at Stonewall, the first time Molly ever went, and we're cruising around through there, and I was in that 1448 at the time, I think, had a little 9.9 on the back. We get up there and put it in water. I just bought this 9.9 off of a guy in Fayetteville. Went up and looked at it, pulled it, first pull, starts right up. Good motor, whatever. It was an off-brand, one of them Hankai,
Oh, yeah.
Amazon brand.
Well, Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
$1,800 motor.
Yeah.
So anyway, get it back. I called him. I was like, all right, let's go boat fishing tonight. We got a motor now. We can go further away from the dock. So put it on the boat, head up there, back the boat in the water, crank. Could not get it started. Could not. Fought it for a good hour trying to get it started.
I cranked on it for a good hour, and I know you cranked on it for a while.
And we just, we put the trolling motor down. We started trolling it and just randomly start cranking on. Could not get it started. Couldn't figure out what was going on. I cussed that thing. So we get up, we troll around the right side around the marina, go up and come back, and we go up the other side, go through the no-wake zone, or out of the no-wake zone, and right there at the corner where the pipe is that goes underneath.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're coming around through there. We just shot a fish. I'm on 5, and I've got a brand new motor guide trouble motor on the front with the remote control. Come around that corner, and the light bracket on the back of the boat caught a stump, and dead stopped us. And I went right off the front of the boat.
He was like a starfish going through the air, so he was a spread eagle. He hit the water, right?
Had the remote around my neck, bow in my hand, go in the water. Can't figure out how to get back up, and the whole time the boat's going away from me. So they're in the boat trying to figure out how to stop the trolling motor, and there's no way to stop it because they don't have a foot pedal on those.
Yeah.
So the boat's just going on 5 on down the lake.
Oh, man.
So we learned a lesson with those. So now we have an Ultrex with a foot pedal.
There you
So
go.
that way we can stop it. But back to the point, that remote control helps in that instance. I know, Dad has the same thing. He's never used it. You guys use a remote on your trolling motor?
No, I don't even think I've ever used mine. I mean, it will definitely come in handy sometimes to use it, but I don't think I ever have.
I think Mikey, he mentioned one time he used to use it when Luke and Austin was in middle school, and he could run the trolling motor for him. Like in high school, he couldn't do that, but I think in middle school he could, and that way he could sit back away off the deck so they could have room to fish, and he could run the trolling motor.
Right. So you guys are more instinct or live scope or electronic driven?
It really just depends on the time of year and where we're at. Like in the spring, around here, you really don't need the electronics or the live scope. It's really nice to have, and it could help you win, but you don't have to have it. Summertime, it's really nice to have a live scope, especially if the fish get out in the middle of the lake, start suspending under bait balls. You can see them, and you can throw at them. Sometimes you can catch them, sometimes you can't. It's just all part of the game, whatever game you want to play. If you want to go after the suspended fish or fish up shallow, because there's always a population of fish that live up shallow.
Right.
So, I mean, it's always just a game, whatever game you want to play.
Yeah. So when you're scouting a new water, what's your break down pre-fishing and scouting a new water that you've never fished before?
I think this is where a little bit of electronics come into play.
Yeah.
Graphing around.
Use a lot of side scan?
Sometimes, yes. If I'm going to a new lake, say down south or somewhere, and I don't know nothing about it, it's probably the first thing I'm going to do is see what the forage is there. I mean, are the fish, is it a bluegill lake? Is it a shad lake? What are they eating? We'll look for that. I'm going to look on my phone, on my Humminbird app, and look how the lake lays. Is there a bunch of deep water, shallow water, how the creeks lay out, this and that. And then I'm just going to go fishing, just pick a creek or somewhere, an area of the lake that looks really good from my app, and go in there and start fishing, see what kind of cover we're dealing with. Is there any bait in there? Am I seeing fish? Am I getting bites? And that's going to be the first part of it. If we're getting bites, seeing bait, seeing plenty of bait, getting bites, how big are the fish? Are they good quality bites? Are we getting a lot of them? Is there more quality bites than smaller bites? Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's like what they say, like one's a fish and two's a pattern. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you really got to think about that too.
So how do you do it on like a lake around here that y'all's familiar with? What kind of walk us through how you kind of, before a tournament, what your kind of plan is on that?
I'm going to go to, a lot of it's going to be off of my experience with it, stuff that I fished before that time of year, like a creek or something. I'm going to go in there and see if the bait's in there, see if the bluegills are on the bank, see if the bass are see what they're doing, where they're hiding at. And if I don't start getting bites pretty quick in a place that I know there should be a fish, I'm getting out of there. I'm going somewhere else. I'm going to throw something else. I'm not going to hang around long.
So are you a tried and true where you throw the same thing all day, or are you swapping baits a lot?
If I'm not getting bites, I'm going to throw something else.
That's the way I am.
Do you run through your, I mean, like me, I tend to kind of stick with the jig and the Senko and, you know, a spinnerbait, things that I've fished a lot. So are you more of a, you know, just start throwing random stuff till you get something to bite? Or?
No, not necessarily. I'm going to throw something that makes sense as to what I should be throwing. You know, like in the spring, like if you're not getting bites on a red crankbait.
Yeah.
I mean, pick something else. Pick up a different style of crankbait, something not as crazy.
Right.
Something.
Match the hatch.
Yes. Yeah, something with a little different color pattern on it. Or something a little more erratic, less erratic, something deeper, something of that nature.
What about you, Micah?
Well, I'm about the same as Cooper. You know, we usually got like, depending on the day, we probably have 10 rods on the deck.
Right.
So we got something on there usually that they're going to bite. It's just picking it up and throwing it and finding. That's actually like, we went down there to Kanawha River that time we got top 5. We lost like 7 crankbaits that morning before we lucked into that bank that afternoon.
Seven's a light day for me.
Yeah. So we was
yeah, I can do that before lunch.
It was before lunch, actually. It was probably before 10:30.
So we was weaning out the crankbaits because there's that time of year too, like Cooper said, that different kind of crankbait that find which one's gonna work. And well, we wasn't meaning to, but we did.
And we got really lucky because they was absolutely chewing that day, and we lost almost every single orange and red crawl collared crankbait I had in my boat that morning. Like we was just throwing them, getting hung up, and not getting them back. Like we was breaking them off every 20 minutes. I was like, man, we got to start getting some bites, or we're gonna run out of crankbaits in a hurry.
That's my specialty. I have an uncanny talent to hang a bait up so good that you can't get a scuba diver to get it undone.
I'm pretty good at it too.
Usually I just get them hung at the top of the tree.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about team dynamics and kind of the culture of tournament fishing. What makes a good partner? What makes a good fishing partner?
You're asking the hard questions.
Somebody that won't give up is a big one. Somebody that, I mean, it's all right to get frustrated. I can't say somebody that doesn't get frustrated because I'm gonna be the first one to get mad and say something stupid.
Mr. High Blood Pressure over there.
I mean, I can't take it. When something don't go my way, so I'm flying off the handle, I'm like, I gotta calm down, just relax, not have a crash out in the middle of the boat. So that's a good one. You can't give up because at any moment you could get the right bite and clue you into something really important. But somebody like that, and somebody that has a mind for what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, you know, like somebody that has the mind on what to throw, where it needs to be, where you need to cast, somebody that can cast accurate. Because an accurate cast...
I'm out.
Yeah.
It's okay. But an accurate cast is a lot of what goes into catching the fish. You got to land it soft, and sometimes you really got to put it back in a little hole that a fish is going to be laying in. And if you don't get it in there, if you do throw it in there and make a splash, it's over. He ain't going to eat it.
Well, I can get it in there, but I'm probably going to bird's nest it.
No, that's all right, too.
I'm getting pretty good at digging them out.
I can hit the water most of the time. It's as good as you're going to get sometimes with me.
So, do you guys feel that there's a strong fishing community in West Virginia?
Yeah, I do, because even like we was talking earlier, you had the question of how many boats was coming out to those tournaments. And it seems like more and more the boat numbers are just picking up. And even like on the smaller side of it, like those Friday nighters at Sutton or Summersville, those are really popular.
Yeah.
Guys love fishing those.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of them because I don't like fishing at night. I get mad.
Yeah.
And
well, Sutton's dirty anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, that lake is just, which we've experienced that, 40 mile an hour down the lake with no lights on, just send it.
Yeah, I run my boat wide open as far as it'll go when I'm running down the lake. 68, 70 mile an hour, just as fast as I can get there. And I'm not going to say that I'd do that at nighttime. Sometimes maybe I would, but I don't want to do that and ram a log in the middle of something,
Yeah.
But, those are really popular tournaments, and guys love fishing those.
Yeah, I've noticed those have picked up a lot too. I fished a couple of those with Dad, which we went out Sutton on that pontoon boat. I think the first time we bow fished together in a while, and went out, and Dad had a brand new pontoon boat. We went up there and scratched it up pretty good for him. So lights died. Going back to the dock, idling from the train trestle with phone lights, flashlights, lighting.
Really?
Oh,
so,
man.
Yeah, it was a long trip.
The fishing community in West Virginia it's growing, and it's really popular, and it's a lot of good guys. It really is, because you could about walk up to anybody that you fish against on a Saturday, walk up to them at the weigh-in, just start a random conversation with them, and y'all can be best friends before you know it. There's a lot of good-hearted people that fish in West Virginia.
Yeah, I think that's what's kind of different with West Virginia versus, we've been out of state and shot some tournaments and things, done things out of state that where you don't have the same dynamic as you do here. It's just not the same people.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the big draws to West Virginia. It's more down home people that.
Right.
We're all there for the same reason, and we're all just good, grounded country folk. Just like last year, the Marshall tournament on Stonewall, I just got my new boat, and I drove to North Carolina on a Friday, picked it up, drove home that evening, went to Sutton, broke it in, went straight home. By the time I got home, it's like 10:30, so I got nothing in this boat. The Marshall series on Stonewall next day, I got nothing in this boat. Not a rod, not a bait, nothing. So me and JC spend almost 3 hours getting all of our stuff just threw in there, absolutely unorganized, and that was rough. We didn't get to bed till like 1:30 that night. So we get up the next morning, got to be at Stonewall at 5:30 for registration. Excuse me. So we get up there, and my mind's just spinning. What we're going to do? We ain't got to practice. I didn't really know where I wanted to go. I didn't know what the fish was doing. And I get on the water, and I'm still just losing it. And I'm waiting on JC, and we're like one of the last ones to put in. And I was getting really, really frustrated. And there really wasn't nowhere for me to get my boat, like up close to the bank, kind of, because everybody's already out there, and it's just a big cluster, and everybody's trying to figure out what's going on. We're waiting on them to play the national anthem, this and that, and start announcing boat numbers. And I see this boat pulled up on the bank, and I recognize it. It's a lime green and gray, blackish Skeeter. And I'm like, hey, I think I know that guy. Well, it was Travis Heater. Me and him's actually pretty good buddies now. And I'd fished against him a couple times. But I'd never really had a conversation with him,
Right.
Didn't know the guy really at all, but I thought I did. And I just kind of idled over there and just started a random conversation with him, just out of nowhere, really. And me and him have become really good buddies. Like, anytime I see him out now on the water, I'll pull up beside of him, and we'll sit there and talk for 30 minutes probably, trying to figure out what the fish are doing, and we'll just sit there and talk forever, really.
What's kind of your strategy going into a like a solo tournament versus a team tournament? How do you approach that differently?
Well, I'm not real sure on how I would do it, because I've only had to fish by myself once, just because Micah bailed on me to go to a concert in Pittsburgh 2 months ago. So I don't really know how I would do it, to be honest with you, but I think it would be about the same kind of breakdown type of deal, but I think I would mainly try to find the best one single bait, what the best deal was that the fish was on, instead of trying to find a couple that you could catch more fish. Like, I would try to find the best single bait that I could throw, or the best 2 or 3 that I could switch from all day long by myself, and not worry about 10 other rods laying on the deck for me and him both to go through.
So, do you guys promote your tournaments or any of your content? Do you guys video anything, any of that on social media?
We usually post the results on Facebook or something. Get all the moms out there. Wish congratulations afterwards. But I created an Instagram. But That's about it. I mean, I don't even think I posted anything on there. I think I posted on my Instagram story one time.
Well, you can plug your Instagram if you want to.
All right, I will.
So you guys don't really post a whole lot. You don't film or anything like that?
No, we don't film. We actually thought about getting into it a while back. We was going to buy a couple GoPros, but we never did.
Don't buy GoPro. Don't buy GoPro.
I've heard some guys really like those DJI cameras.
Yep, DJI.
Is that what y'all have?
I'm running GoPros, but I'll tell you, if I wasn't invested so hardcore into GoPro, I'd never do it again.
Really?
Those things are junk. And especially for you guys in the daytime, they're black. They draw a lot of heat.
Oh, yeah,
They overheat.
Yeah.
Really?
And if you're running, like we're running mics when we're filming at night, and so we have to run the media mod, and then it's a heat capsule basically, and that thing will overheat 2 or 3 times a night. I'm really surprised that it's making it through the whole recording now without overheating.
And that ain't no good.
Yeah,
I would get really aggravated.
Yeah, yeah, and the batteries die quick. So if you're not plugged in all the time, the batteries will die, and you have to have a 30-watt charger in order to keep them on and be able to record audio. And it's just stay away from GoPro. That's
The batteries are the most annoying part. It never fails, man. You'll hear that camera beep, the battery's gone dead.
No.
5 seconds later, you'll shoot a stud fish.
Yeah.
You won't have the camera on.
Yeah.
That would be my luck.
Happens almost every time.
and corrupted files with them too. That's a big thing. We've lost a ton of video because of corrupted files.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like lost all your footage?
Yep. So a lot of times when it overheats, it corrupts the file and then tries to fix it, and it just doesn't. It can't.
Oh.
And I mean, we lost the shot. Well, one of those 50-pounders from last year. I lost the footage off of one of them. And that's the biggest fish that we'd ever shot. It was the biggest one was 53, and then he shot one that was over 50.
50 pounds.
Yeah, grass carp.
You shot that 53, I shot a 51, and then we had probably 7 or 8 that were in the mid to high 40s.
Molly shot one. I think that was
she was
the first or second big one that we had shot. Molly.
47 pound.
Yeah, it was a big one. Yeah,
that is massive.
Yeah, that's a big.
They're fun. Them big ones are fun.
We got onto them one night, and I mean, I'm telling you.
We ran slap in the middle of our house, man. One night.
We're knocking on the door.
We pulled right up in the living room.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wore them out.
Just letting them have it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the night that we graduated from the 2 30-gallon tubs to one big 55-gallon barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd shoot one of the big ones. I mean, you're 20-minute fight getting that in the boat.
I'm sure.
Shooting it at least 2 times, getting it pulled in the boat, getting in the barrel, and then you turn right around. There's 3 or 4 more of them laying there.
Holy cow!
I lost which I got to give him a hard time. So the other guy that goes fishing with sometimes, his name's Mike as well. So I shot the biggest fish of my life. I'm telling you, this thing made those 50s look small. And we've been after the state record, which is 63.
Yeah, 63 point something. Yeah.
63 pounds. So we've been after that state record hot and heavy for the last 2 years. And, everything we can do, watching, moon phases, weather conditions, all that, trying to get those fish up when the grass is up to be able to shoot one. I shot one that I'm pretty sure was big enough. And he wasn't there that night. I don't know what they were doing, but him and Molly were busy. Mike went with me, and he missed the backup shot, and it ran through the grass and bolted.
Oh,
and it was just, it's like losing a 5-pound fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when that man missing it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. So, which I've done that before too, jabbing at the fish.
Oh, yeah.
That's another good thing to have in a partner too, isn't it?
Absolutely. A good net man makes all the difference.
So, any advice for young anglers wanting to start in tournament fishing?
Find you a good buddy with a boat and just go out there and go fishing.
Yeah.
Don't think about it too much. Try to study it up a little bit. Don't spin yourself out. Just go out there and fish and keep fishing.
Yeah, and have fun. Don't take it so serious that you let it really ruin it for you. Just that's the main part of it. Is have fun and enjoy it, because that's the real reason that we're out there, is just to enjoy it and a good release from everything else going on in the world. Just go fishing, make a cast, catch a bass, and just have a good day.
Yeah, when we first started shooting tournaments, that was our biggest problem. Man, we were so hyper focused on on winning that tournament.
Yeah.
You get in there and it gets in your head, and you're missing twice as much as normal.
Right.
Yeah.
When we started just more or less just kind of saying screw it and just going out there to have fun, man.
Yeah.
We was pulling way more fish.
Yeah.
on the boat.
Yeah, for sure. Which we had a pretty rough time at our own tournament this year.
we really,
I mean, it was just the fish were up the weekend before. We shot 55 gallon worth of carp, and then we go up there, and I even drove up. So I drive up the day of the tournament, can see the fish hitting top on the other side of the lake. I sent him a video of it, and I was like, man, they're up. It's going to be a good night.
Yeah.
So then we get up there, cold front rolled in,
Yeah.
no
Right,
fish.
right,
Like it
yeah.
was, we struggled. I think we shot 8 or 9, 10 fish, something like that night, and
Yeah.
it was just,
It was a Big Ten tournament. We just barely got our 10 fish.
we weighed in a moon eye to make the 10. So,
Yeah.
but it was a good night though. I mean, it was
Yeah,
good.
we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, trying to grow that bow fishing in West Virginia a little bit.
That's awesome.
So, kind of a couple closing questions for you guys. Dream lake or river to fish a tournament, or just pleasure fishing?
I think I'd want to go back to Hartwell. We went down to Hartwell last summer for the TBF National Championship. That was the one me and Luke got 10th in, and then 20th in the world. We went down there and wrecked them. If you want to have a fun day catching some big old spots and maybe a big old largemouth or two, that is the place to do it. They fish down there. They eat them blueback herring,
Mhm.
which is kind of like their bait fish. And they are aggressive and they're quick and they fight hard, and it is a good time.
Yeah.
I think if I had my choice, I'm probably gonna pick Santee Cooper in South Carolina.
We've been there.
Have you really?
We've been to tailwaters, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we went down
March. Yeah,
bow
March.
fishing down there. Yeah.
See, my boss, the guy I work for now, he has a camp on Santee Cooper, and he goes down there multiple times a year, and he just feeds me full and tells me about how good it is and how good the fishing is. And he tells me I can go down there anytime I want, but I'm kind of leery about it because of how shallow the place is and all the
And
timber.
the
Like, I don't want to go down there and just start running around.
Man, all kinds of stuff.
That
Yeah.
was what the guy that we were down there with, that's the first thing he said. If you go to Santee, watch the stumps.
Yeah.
And tear the lower unit off the boat quick.
Yeah. But
Which
I-
we were in the tail race
Yeah.
on there. So which that was good. There was a lot of boats out there. We seen a lot of
Yeah.
fish too.
Yeah, we seen a pile that night.
Yeah. I think my dream lake would be Okeechobee.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a good one. Yeah.
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 What time of year?
I don't know. Probably spring.
Yeah, you'd probably want to go down there like January, February. Somewhere where
Like the last middle of February, maybe last
Yeah.
week of February.
But see, there again, same thing as Santee. It's a shallow lake with a lot of flats.
Mhm.
You know, so that you definitely got to know what you're doing down there. But
Yeah. I don't think there's any stumps down there, but still shallow mud flats and just
Yeah.
grass everywhere and not being able to see.
Well, the good thing is there's not a big rocks. So it's
Yeah.
just sand.
Yeah.
So if you hit it, it's not
Yeah.
the end of the world.
It wouldn't be as bad. You just be hung up there.
Yeah.
You got your boat off.
We were looking at the prop on mine the other day. I guess we got into some good sand somewhere because it chewed it up pretty good. So one tip you wish someone had gave you when you started out.
Go ahead, Cooper.
Oh man, I don't know. One tip. That's a good question, really.
Could have been anybody. Dad, older brother, grandpa.
One tip that
Man, you're taking too long.
I can't help it. That somebody should have gave me, or that I
Well-
wish somebody would have gave me.
So one tip you wish someone would have gave you when you were starting out.
Man, I don't know. I wasn't ready for that one.
Yeah.
I think you better learn how to cast
Yeah.
before you. If you can,
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know why I drew a blank
Yeah.
there, but
like, I mean, you ain't got to be Andy Montgomery skipping it under a dock, but I mean, keep her out of the trees
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, I definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about a dream boat setup? What's that for you?
Oh, there we go. That's a good.
dream boat setup. Honestly, I think I have mine now.
So what are you fishing on?
I bought a 2024 Skeeter ZXR20 last May. Actually, I think this week was the week I went and bought it. Went and picked it up last year, and it's a Cadillac. I mean, drives like a Cadillac, rides like one. I mean, it's amazing. And I got it very fortunate. I got it set up how I wanted it, and everything that I wanted on it, and it's awesome. I wouldn't trade it for anything, honestly. I really wouldn't.
So what drew you to a Skeeter?
Mikey Samples has a Skeeter, and I had been talking about buying a new boat with him. I've been back and forth, and I was really back and forth between a Phoenix and a Skeeter.
I like the Phoenix boats.
I really do too. And me and him was fishing one day. We was on his boat, and he backed me down the water. We was coming out of the no wake at Sutton. I said, "Here you go, man. You drive." He said, "No." He said, "You can have it. Take her for a rip up through there." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." I was like, "I don't care. Go ahead." And I was like, "All right." And I took off up through there, and I was like, "This is uncomparable." Because at the time, I was in the 18-foot Stratus, like a 98 model Stratus 283. Amazing boat. I loved that boat. Like, absolutely loved it. Had a 150 Evinrude on it, 2 strokes, smoked up a whole boat ramp when you fired it up. I mean, I loved that thing. Ran like a top. But, I mean, it was almost like driving a race car. Like, you had to drive it.
Yeah.
And that day when I drove his Skeeter, I was like, this ain't even close. Like, the ride and the drive and the steering, just everything. It was uncomparable. And I was like, that's it right there. That's the one I'm getting.
Yeah. So what's your dream boat setup?
I like them Bass Cats.
Yeah.
I think if I
never really was big on the Bass Cats.
Really?
I don't think they look good.
I like the way they look. Alex Goff's got a Bass Cat.
Yeah.
And I like the way they look. I think I definitely got to get a Yamaha on there.
Yeah.
Showmax.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't. Mercuries are cool, but they don't make them as tough as a Yamaha.
Yeah, yeah.
And so 250 Yamaha. Give me some Minn Kota Raptors back here, power poles, and load it up with grass and go fishing.
Yeah.
Put an Ultrex on there.
So what kind of graphs do you want to run?
Hummingbird and Garmin.
Yeah.
I don't mess around with them Lorentzes.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost made the mistake and bought the Active Target.
Yeah.
Gotta get that Garmin.
Yeah, yeah.
We're pretty well dead set on the Yamahas.
Yeah.
And I'm tried and true after last weekend. Me and Micah was on Summersville fishing the Buddy Trail tournament for Bass Nation. And we was going up through there, running the lake, and the lake was really trashy. But it wasn't like clumped together like it normally is. Like, it was just sparse and spread out, but it was everywhere. And you're just running around, zigzagging everywhere. We was going up through there, and I thought we was in a pretty clean spot. And I cracked down on them. We was running about wide open, trimmed about all the way up. And I honestly, I don't know how big it was. Nothing, because I didn't even see it coming. But we rammed a log at some point. Like, I'd never seen it at all. I just heard it, and it was like, boom. And the motor jumped up and kind of shifted the boat a little bit. And I'm like, oh, man. But it didn't hit the prop or nothing, didn't stall the motor out. I kind of let off of it and got back into it, and the motor didn't blow off of it, and nothing crazy happened, so we just hammered on down and kept on going.
They make those leashes for the motors, too. I've seen those.
Yes, I've been meaning to buy one of those. I really want one. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Because that could really save your life.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what keeps it from like flying up hitting you.
Yeah.
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 Like, if you hit something big and it straight up tears the motor off the back of your boat and you ain't got one, like, it's coming in there on one.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about a dream fishing partner? If you can fish with one person, past or present.
We saved all the good questions for the end.
Yeah, I'll let you answer that one first, Micah. Go ahead.
Oh man, there's so many options. I mean, there's
From any era.
from any era.
From any era.
Nobody wants to say Bill Dance, but
I probably would have said Bill.
Right.
You didn't say Bill
Bill
Dance?
Dance, Roland Martin.
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Man. Hope he-
Especially with Okeechobee. Roland
Right.
Martin.
Yeah.
You had to pick Bill, and hopefully that got on one of those.
The blooper reels,
where the
yeah.
trolling
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
off the front or something.
Yeah.
You can't fall out of the tree.
That's still
Like, oh, dadgummit.
We talk about the Colorado blade.
Yeah.
We still make that reference every time I'm pulling the trolling motor.
Yeah.
Don't Bill Dance it up there.
I think probably Kevin Van Dam. I got a Kevin Van Dam rod, and I've loved that thing. And like I've studied Kevin Van Dam, listened to him a lot, learned a lot from him. I think he's been good. Either him or one of the After the Cats guys, Andy Montgomery, Ott Defoe, or Edwin Evers, one of them guys.
So So Kevin Van Dam, you fishing in his pond, or are you going to a lake with him?
Oh, we're going to the lake with him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure out how to catch some smallmouth up north a little bit or
That's
something.
the rod he caught that 4-pounder on.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's why.
it.
Yeah.
All right, Cooper, who you bringing in the boat?
I'm going Hank Parker, man. Hank Parker all day long. We're going to talk about deer hunting, catching bass. We're going to talk about Dale Earnhardt. We're going to talk about getting up in the shallow water, throwing spinner baits all day, winning 2 Bassmaster Classics. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to have some good conversations. We might not catch any, but we're going to have a good time.
What about Gerald Swindle? You want to get?
G-Man will be a good one.
I think you gotta go Gerald Swindle.
Yeah.
But Gerald will be a good one, but I'm going Hank Parker if I got a choice.
What about one piece of equipment or gear or one lure that you're not stepping foot in that boat without?
The jig all day long.
Yeah.
You
So
will
what kind of jigs you running? Because Michael and I are talking about a little venture here.
I like the Buckeye jigs. Like Micah said, Gerald Swindle, like one of his signature jigs, the Buckeye balling out. Those are a really good one. Strike King jigs, Denny Bauer flipping jig, Greg Hackney hack attack jig. Those are probably one of my top ones is what I like to throw. Those are really good ones and pretty good quality for what you get.
So we've been kind of kicking around the idea of making some baits here.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So I might have access to all the stuff to do it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Plastics, jigs, spinner baits, chatter baits, all
Yeah.
that.
There you go.
I have been pouring some of my own, like Cinco's and
Yeah.
some stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, we kind of dabbled in it a little bit into the hard baits and got into the airbrushing and all that. And I think
Really?
he's kind of got the bug for it. So
Oh,
we've-
okay.
I'll show you some pictures of something
Okay.
we've made. So, but yeah, I think I think a jig is one of my things too.
Yeah.
That's it's always a big fish catcher. It doesn't matter what time of year.
Yeah. You will never, probably, ever see me fishing without a jig laid out on the deck of the boat.
Yeah.
Tied on. I mean, it's
Favorite collar.
green pumpkin.
Okay.
That's a good answer.
That's
Yeah,
quick.
I got you.
Yeah,
I mean, it's,
he was waiting on
it's
that.
right
one.
there. We're green pumpkin or black and blue is really
What kind
all
of-
you need.
What kind of trailer are you running?
Straight King, Rage Crawl.
Get into secrets.
I got you.
It's
I'll
let him. I gotta let him in on a little bit.
Everybody
Listen.
does, and if you ain't, you're
Yeah.
seriously missing.
Well,
out.
the only reason that he's throwing what he's throwing is because he hasn't thrown anything we've made yet.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
mean, that's true.
We're gonna get these
Tried and true.
the Outcast
Yeah,
trailers.
yeah, that's right. We might be able to hook you up with a bag or two.
Yeah, but I mean, it's either green pumpkin or black and blue all day for me.
Yeah.
Like, you really don't need anything else. Unless, I mean, shad spawn going on, you might throw a white one. But, I mean, that'd be swim jig territory. But flip a
Right.
jig, green pumpkin, black or blue.
I made a green and white one, Marshall themed
Really?
jig, and I've done fairly well with it,
Really?
surprisingly. And it's
Huh.
bright green too.
Huh.
So,
Okay.
all right, you guys have any shout outs, sponsors, family, upcoming events, anything going on?
Nothing too crazy. We're going to Canal River this weekend to fish with the Canal River Bassmasters. We're going to get on that and hopefully get on a good smallmouth bite this weekend. I think it'll be pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
You want to shout out your Instagram over there?
Fishing with Mike.
Okay, gotcha. So we'll try to make you famous. So we'll
there you
get a
go.
little bit of money off of it. Alrighty, guys, it's been another episode of the Outcast. We'll see you all next week.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for lacing up your boots.
Whew.
If today's episode sparked something in you,
Man, that's